esto le venía al pelo. 11S, 11M. ¿Crees que la gente, después de dar de comer la papilla a su niño pequeño, de que le van a despedir de su empresa, va a estar pensando si el 11S y el 11M es diferente? La gente se queda con números, con palabras, con pequeños datos. La gente no lee nada, ni sabe nada. ¿Sabes por qué se llama el chino, el tunecino? Porque suena a la gente. Nadie se queda con Ali Lanrabet, no, se queda con el chino y el tunecino. ¿Y sabes por qué no se llama el argelino? Porque era la Mari, la palabra más castiza en España, la Mari. Pero es que para colmo el chino no era el chino, como todo el mundo sabe, porque nadie le llamaba el chino, le llamaban Mowgli. Entonces, esos son inventos de los que saben muchísimo de comunicación y de los que saben que la gente se va a quedar con dos palabras. El chino, la dinamita, el minero, 3 palabras y no quieren nada más porque nadie ha leído nada más.
En este 5º aniversario del 11M, homenaje, rosas, globos blancos, el 11 de marzo.
Flores, homenaje, la música de 11M.
Silencio, 11M, homenaje, silencio, 11M, 11 de marzo, el 11M.
El 11M...
Terrorismo yihadista, homenaje, el 11M. Globos, flores, silencio, homenaje.
Flores, globos, homenaje, el 11M, silencio, 11 de marzo, flores, silencio, flores y velas, homenajes.
Flores, 11 de marzo, silencio, flores, silencio.
Claveles, ciudadanos, silencio.
Flores y velas, homenaje, silencio, silencio.
Homenaje al 11M.
11 de marzo, barbarie terrorista, silencio.
11M, terrorismo yihadista. 11M,
terrorismo internacional, silencio.
11 de marzo,
11 de marzo.
Silencio, homenajes, 11M.
Claveles rojos, globos blancos.
Flores y velas, 11M. Homenajes, 11 de marzo, homenajes.
Música y flores,
11M. 11M.
Flores, silencio y música.
Un globo blanco,
11M, 11 de marzo, homenaje, 11M.
Silencio, 11M, silencio y globos blancos, 11M.
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 Flores, 11 de marzo, silencio, flores, velas o globos blancos.
Claveles rojos, globos blancos.
11 de marzo.
11M, flores y globos blancos y flores, también blancas. Más flores, terroristas yihadistas.
Homenajes, velas y flores, 10 años,
10 bombas.
11 de marzo, silencio,
Silencio,
amenaza yihadista. 11 de marzo, silencio,
Teoría de la conspiración.
Silencio,
silencio. 11 de marzo, han pasado ya 11 años de homenaje.
homenaje del 11 de marzo.
con velas, con flores.
11 de marzo.
Con el 11M, 11 años después.
Unos homenajes,
Globos.
Silencio, margaritas blancas.
Globos, flores y velas.
11 de marzo,
Terrorismo yihadista.
Silencio. El 11M.
El 11M...
Terrorismo yihadista.
Han sido las palabras más repetidas.
The traditional way of America gets to war is what would be best for U.S. interests. Some people might think that Mr. Roosevelt wanted to get us into World War II, as David mentioned. You may recall we had to wait for Pearl Harbor. Some people might think Mr. Wilson wanted to get us into World War I. You may recall he had to wait for the Lusitania episode. Some people might think that Mr. Johnson wanted to send troops to Vietnam. You may recall he had to wait for the Gulf of Tonkin episode. We didn't go to war with Spain until the until the Maine exploded. And may I point out that Mr. Lincoln did not feel he could call out the Federal Army until Fort Sumter was attacked, which is why he ordered the commander at Fort Sumter to do exactly that thing which the South Carolinians had said would cause an attack.
Assad organized the international community, saying Assad has to go.
Step aside, and it's time for Assad to get out of the way.
It is time for him to go.
Assad can't be part of the future of Syria. Cannot be a part of Syria's future.
Assad must go.
Free from Assad's tyranny.
Can't be part of future Syria.
Has to go. Assad's days are numbered.
Assad needs to go.
Assad must go.
Assad is on his way out.
Needs to go.
He needs to go. He still must go.
Assad regime bombed schools, bombed civilians, and bombed hospitals.
I'm confident that Assad will go.
He will be removed.
There will not be peace in Syria.
A red line for us is chemical and biological weapons, chemical or biological chemical weapons. Chemical weapons.
Chemical weapons attack in Syria.
Chemical attack in Syria.
Chemical weapons on civilians and children. Chemical weapons. 400 children that they gassed.
Chemical weapons.
Chemical weapons in Syria.
Chemical weapons.
Chemical weapons. Chemical weapons.
Chemical weapons. Against innocent men, women, and children.
Assad has lost all legitimacy.
President al-Assad has lost legitimacy. Assad has lost all legitimacy to govern. He is no longer legitimate and that he needs to go.
Assad has lost all legitimacy to lead.
Chemical weapons.
Chemical weapons.
Chemical weapons.
Chemical weapons.
Chemical weapons.
All the chemical weapons.
A war of words for the hearts and minds of the world.
There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. It's a big club. And you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they used to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy.
Our big story tonight is Donald Trump. Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump,
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump,
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump,
Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump, Donald Trump,
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump,
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump is not going to be president.
The beginning of the end.
The beginning of the end.
Beginning of the end.
Beginning of the end.
Walking Dead.
Trump is Trump.
Trump is Trump.
Trump is Donald Trump.
Trump is Trump.
Donald Trump is Donald Trump.
Trump's going to be Donald Trump.
Donald Trump is Donald Trump.
Donald Trump is Donald Trump.
Trump's going to be Trump.
Trump's got to be Trump.
I think Trump's going to be Trump.
Trump will be Trump.
Donald Trump is Donald Trump.
Trump will be Trump. Trump's going to do Trump.
This is classic Trump.
Classic Trump.
Classic Trump.
Classic Trump style. Classic Trump.
Classic Trump.
It's Trump doing Trump.
Sexually predatory behavior, kissing and groping women, shameful comments, language so obscene, the disrespect, sick, sinking feeling, terror, grab them, vulgar words, sexually assaulting women.
Donald Trump is a clown.
You know, he's a clown.
Donald Trump is a clown.
Fascist pig Donald Trump. Racist comments.
Sexist.
Donald Trump.
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 Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Trump is Donald Trump.
Classic Trump. He was classic Trump. Classic Trump style. Classic Trump style.
Donald Trump in classic.
Trump is going to be Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump and Russia of alleged collusion.
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 Collusion. Collusion.
Collusion.
Collusion.
Collusion. Collusion.
Collusion. Collusion.
Collusion.
Collusion. Collusion.
This was a white lash. White lash. White lash.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
And more Trump.
Did you learn it?
More classic Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
They love me. 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 They love me.
Culture is not your friend. Culture is a plot against the expansion of consciousness. And this plot prosecutes its goals through a limiting of language. Language is the battleground over which the fight will take place. It's true that all culture is somewhat unfriendly to the individual. When their heavy arm falls on your shoulder and they tell you that you're going to be sent off to some foreign hellhole to kill people as a young man, you definitely suddenly get the notion that culture is not your friend.
Iraq. Iraqi, 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 Iraq, Iraqi, Dick, Iraq, 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 Iraqi, 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 Iraq, 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 Iraqi, Iraq.
Terrorist.
Iraq, Iraq.
Weapons of mass destruction, chemical, biological, nuclear weapons.
Weapons of mass destruction. Mass destruction. He has gassed his own people. He is unstable. Danger.
Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein.
The evil terrorist. 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 Terrorist.
Terrorist, 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 terrorist.
Terrorist.
Terrorist, terrorist, terrorist.
Terrorist. Terrorist. Terrorist. Dangerous weapons to even more dangerous weapons. Biological weapons. Murderous regimes, tyranny, and terror. Slaughtered thousands.
Pitiless terror.
Poison gas.
Torture chambers.
Mass graves.
Deadly technologies.
Radical ideology of hate.
Terror threats. Terror.
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 War on terrorism.
War against terrorism. Global war on terror.
Global terrorism. 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 Global terrorism.
Terrorism. Terrorism.
Terrorism.
Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism. Iraq. 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 Iraqi. Iraq. 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 Terrorism. Terrorists. Terrorists. A tool of terror and torture. Terrorizing terror and murder. Weapons of terror. Terrible weapons. Dangerous weapons. Even more dangerous weapons. Poisons. Deadly gases. Instruments of terror. Nuclear holy warriors.